one of the last remaining questions for the Chicago Bulls to answer before the start of the season was if Patrick Williams was going to get a rookie contract extension to avoid becoming a restricted free agency this offseason. Well, we got the answer to that as Patrick Williams does not get a contract extension. We're going to talk about what that could mean for a season, all that and more, right after this.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bulls Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bulls news and content.
What's going on, Bulls fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bulls Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related. I'm the host, Haize, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Bulls Central Pod on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into content for tonight. On this emergency update, we're not going to break it down in full. I'm going to just let you guys know tomorrow I have kind of a comparison with a lot of the other rookie extension deals that were given out and what that kind of means for Patrick Williams and to expect with his rookie extension. But before we get into that, we'll get into that tomorrow. I want to just talk about the fact that Patrick Williams did not sign a rookie contract extension with the Chicago Bulls. Now, if you've been following this team pretty closely, you kind of had the feeling that this is where it was going to go to, right? And when you look at even how the Bulls handled the contract extension of Coby White, right? Not extending him, letting it go to right before, restricted free agency. He really didn't get out on the market, didn't meet with other teams, but they really allowed for, in that fourth season, for Coby White to really show what he was going to be and show the growth and improvement and stuff like that. And while Coby had one of his worst seasons as far as shooting numbers wise, he really grew a lot this upcoming season. I think that's what Patrick Williams really needs to let this season be for him coming up, right? I've talked about it with Pat over at Locked on Bulls, well, Pat the designer, I should say, and really with Patrick Williams this season, it comes down to more than scoring, right? Even if Patrick Williams does average another 10 to 11 points per game, it really comes down to Patrick Williams showing that being more than just a solid defender, right? He has to be a more versatile defender overall if that's what he's going to hang his hat on, moving from maybe being a solid team defender in what he's been for this team. Again, lowest, the least scored on player in isolation all of last season. Right, that's something that he can hang his hat on, but he has to move into being maybe an all-defensive team type player this upcoming season, and that is what Patrick Williams needed to do. Shout out to Ed Herring as well, who threw in that he would like to see Patrick Williams have 100 blocks, 100 steals, right? Things like that to increase his game this upcoming season, and that's what Patrick Williams really needs to focus on. Patrick already was asked after practice today, how easy would it be for him to move on and focus on his game in the upcoming season if he doesn't get a contract extension? And he said it would be easy. Now he moves into a situation where he's going to have to show and prove that to get the big extension that is rumored that he may want, right? And ultimately, even talking about he's wanted a big deal, dreamed of signing big deals, things like that. Patrick Williams has to go out on the court for the Chicago Bulls this season and show growth and development. And while a lot of Chicago Bulls fans make that all about how many points he averages per game, to me, it's not about that. It's about showing that you have that one skill that nobody on the team is better than you on. And when you look at some of the contract extensions that were handled out, right, you can look at things that could absolutely point to Patrick Williams signing for much less money than many people think. And then you can look at some deals to sign. Maybe he may sign for more than that $20 million, right? The Jaden McDaniel deal specifically is another one that really sticks out for that player and maybe what Patrick Williams is trying to eye towards. But again, Jaden McDaniel is a player who's also the third, fourth option offensively on that Minnesota Timberwolves team, but really, hung us out defensively, right? Stood up and shot the ball effectively from three-point range, almost 40% from there, scoring 12 points per game, getting rebounds, things like that. So Jaden McDaniels is a good player, I think, for Patrick Williams to look at, right? McDaniels, 12 points per game, 3.9 rebounds, 2 assists per game, 51% shooting overall from the field, and that almost 40% shooting from three-point range last season, still only taking 9.1 shots per game. But again, that's how a player can impact the game without necessarily needing to take a lot of shots. And that's kind of something that Patrick Williams needs to look at, not necessarily modeling his game after Jaden McDaniels, but just that type of impact. And so, as Patrick Williams continues to grow, and, this Bulls team sees where the ceiling is going to be for this Bulls team, I think that ultimately he's going to remain a player with the Chicago Bulls. I've said it. I don't really think there's a world in which the Bulls let him walk away for free after they've let players walk away. And because now, going into restricted free agency, unless they trade him during the season, which I think he would have veto rights now or something, some weird rule when you're a restricted free agent, potentially giving up your bird rights. So when it comes down to it, he's either going to be on the Chicago Bulls or he's going to go to another team in restricted free agency. And my money is that him and the Bulls are going to work out something. But this season is highly important for Patrick Williams to show that he can drum up some consistency, right? And like we've said, he has dogs behind him. in Julian Phillips and Torrey Craig that are going to be fighting and scraping for his minutes. Patrick Willians has to show out this season. And again, let me be clear here. It does not mean it all comes down to scoring wise for Pat, but he has to find a way to consistently impact the game and give that consistent effort. This has to be the season where Patrick Willians does not get moved out of the starting lineup. He has to make himself such a valuable asset to the Chicago Bulls team that Billy Donovan doesn't even think about sitting him once the lights are on. And so the tests are on. Patrick Willians not getting a contract extension really puts the highlight on him and how he performs in what his role is. Let me be clear here. In what his role is, right, on this team, and maybe even showing a little bit more outside of that role. But it really comes down to what Patrick Willians shows this upcoming season, and if he shows the needed growth, that AK and Eversley feel comfortable giving him that full 5-year extension. We've seen a lot of these rookie deals this deadline, getting those 3-year deals, right? That may be what it ends up being for Patrick Willians, much like with Kobe White. But this season is going to tell that story. Let me know what you guys think down below. Patrick Willians not getting a contract extension with a lot of the other rookies. He joins players like Obi Toppin, who didn't get a contract extension. Sadiq Bey didn't get a contract extension. Precious Achua didn't get a contract extension as well. So there are other players' names on this list that also didn't get contract extensions with their team that Patrick Willians joins. But let me know what you guys think on that all down below. Make sure you guys are following the show at Bull Central Pod. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, bullcentralpod@gmail.com. And then lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-270-2799. We are the #1 spot for everything Chicago Bulls related, thanks to you guys. And like I like to end every episode on, go Bulls. Love you guys. See red if you can, y'all. Peace.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.